Today, the first Fit2Box boxing Tinder. Hello and welcome to Fit2Box channel. I'm Simon, full-time amateur boxing coach, and here on Fit2Box channel I show you all things boxing. Today I've got the first Fit2Box boxing Tinder, where I'm going to put images on the screen and I'm going to swipe right or swipe left. Okay, so I'll be swiping right on the camera, even though that's my left hand. But on the camera it will look right, so, or left. Let's get that right. Hold on a second. So, if I swipe that way, it's going to be swipe left. I swipe that way, it's going to be swipe right. Bear with me. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put on the first image, and the first image is Clayton Reyes, famous Mexican boxing brand, absolutely synonymous with massive fights over the years and boxing legends. Yes, they weigh too heavy. Yes, sometimes the logo chips off, but they are a historic boxing brand, and Clayton Reyes has to be a swipe right. Next one, boxing glove fakes. As you know, I hate fake boxing gloves where they're trying to copy the Clayton Reyes, the Grants, Floyd, Dinardo, winning, and then they sort of either try and make on that they're real, which obviously they're nothing like the real thing, or they try and charge them at a price whereby people think that they're real, and I think that's absolutely disgusting, especially on places like eBay. I hate it. I try and highlight it on my Instagram. I think it's deplorable what they're doing. People, if they want to have some genuine winning, you are not going to get genuine winning from the feel of what they do with these fakes. Absolute rubbish. For me, that is a definite swipe left. Okay, let's go on again. We got Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury obviously is retired as of this point. From what I can see, I think that he probably will come back. There's still fights that people want to see. He has turned his sort of career around, especially when he sort of ballooned in weight and was like obviously near suicidal in his personal life, lost a load of weight, come back, got all the belts back, and is now basically recognised as the #1 heavyweight out there. And so for Tyson Fury, for that glorious comeback, I am going to give that a swipe right. Then we come on to Everlast stretch wraps. I did a video on these before. These are the ones that have got a massive amount of stretch in them, and because of that, it's actually like you're binding your hands, and your bones in your hands start to be squeezed together because of the elasticity in these. These are a definite swipe left. Then we come on to winning. Winning, made in Japan. A lot of the top pros use winning gear, from the gloves to the head guards, the groin guards. I love winning gear, absolutely top notch, and so that is a definite swipe right. Then we come on to the winning copies. Again, what I've mentioned about the fakes, a lot of places out there, they're either trying to do clones of winning or copies of winning. And so the copies are never going to be as good as the original winning. You can't buy a pair of winning for £100, so if you see that they are definitely fake. When you look at real winning, you can tell the quality, and some of these are just Pakistan copies, absolutely no good. Then also there's a lot of companies out there that copy what winning are doing, whether it's the gloves or the groin guard, or definitely the FG 2900 with the cheek bars. So winning, because they're so good, so simplistic, they are copied by lots of people. I'd prefer it if the brands just did their own thing. So for me, winning copies and clones, swipe left. Then we come on to Mexican stretch 180-degree wraps. The Mexican stretch wraps are the ones that I would always go for. They've got a little bit of stretch in them, and they will be fitting around your hands, absolutely superb. So if you're looking for hand wraps, those are the ones that you need to go for. That's a swipe right. Then let's go on to the different belts in boxing. Now, I love the fact that, you know, there's lots of different organisations, and I think it's great when you've got a champion and he's got 3 or 4 belts. I think it looks great, and the fact that they can collect the different belts, I think, is brilliant. Obviously, it's a shame that the sanctioning bodies don't work together a lot more, and I know that there's people that would like to hark to a day when there was only 1 champion in the division, but let's be honest, it's never ever going to get to that. So I do like the different belts that you can pick up, the WBC, the WBO, the WBA, the IBF, and the Ring magazine. I just think it looks class, especially when there is an undisputed fight that is going on. So for me, with those belts, the different belts, I have to say, I think that that is a swipe right for me. Now, I'll come on to the other belts, the belts which are like the super champion. So you've got the WBA that's not only got 1 champion, but then they've got a super champion, and then there's another champion, another champion. That's the part of the sanctioning bodies that I do not like. Why don't they just have 1 belt instead of having several belts, so they end up with several champions in the different divisions? So that is definitely something that I would swipe left on. Then we come to Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, what I like about Anthony Joshua is not only does he win in good style, but when he loses in good style as well. He is very good when it comes to sort of coming back and facing the people that have defeated him. So it's almost like no challenge is too big for him. And of course, he has got that fight with Usyk that is coming up, and I'm really looking forward to that. So Anthony Joshua, for that, he gets a swipe right. Then we come on to the commemorative belts that like the WBC does when it comes to like a Mexican holiday, or when Canelo is fighting or Tyson Fury is fighting, and they do these commemorative belts. And I have to say, I know that they're like just extra trinkets that the fighters have, but I do like those belts. I do think that they're good, and it's nice to see the WBC belt in different colours and different sort of arrangements, and you can tell they put a lot of thought into those. So I do like those belts. So for those, I am going to swipe right. Then we come on to cotton herringbone hand wraps. Okay, so these are the ones with no stretch. I know that a lot of people in sort of Muay Thai like these type of hand wraps. For me, I don't think they're as comfortable. I don't think you can get as good a hand wrap with them. So for me, the cotton hand wraps that are called herringbone, for me, that is a swipe left. Then we come on to ippo manichuki and Victorious Boxers. This is an absolutely fantastic cartoon when it comes to boxing. They're even wearing winning gear. I absolutely love it. The characters in it, and also sort of the storylines. Big thumbs up for me, and so that is a swipe right for that. Then we come on to my favourite Rocky character, and that is Apollo Creed. I would say loosely based on Muhammad Ali, but I love his style. I love the King of Sting, the Master of Disaster is my favourite character out of all of the Rocky and the Creed movies. So for Apollo Creed, that's a swipe right. Then we come on to Ebony Bridges. Ebony Bridges, sweet Jesus and the baby orphans. Do I like Ebony Bridges? I like her style, I like her attitude, and also she is a world champion. She's proved herself to be a good boxer as well. So it's not just about her style and her looks. She is a definite swipe right. Then we come on to Fly, made in England. They've got their synthetic range, which is made in China. I love the style of them. The Fly Super Lace has been my top glove for a long time now, beating all comers since I've been doing the ratings, and I love the style of Fly, I really do. So that is a swipe right. Then we come on to Rocky 5. Rocky 5 generally is considered to be the worst Rocky. And the thing is, the character Tommy Gunn, which is almost sort of loosely based on like a young Mike Tyson, who hooks up with sort of the promoter, Washington Duke, who's obviously again loosely based on Don King, and then turns against Rocky. The only thing with Rocky 5, and I did like the Tommy Gunn character, I thought he was good, I liked Tommy Morrison playing him, but the fact that there was no fight at the end in the ring and they were like brawling outside, for me, there's only one thing that I can do when it comes to Rocky 5, and that is swipe left. Okay, then we're coming on to Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, you know, a lot of people knock Eddie Hearn, but I have to say I think he's refreshed the game. He puts on some great cards. He plays the social media sort of game very, very well, and I really like what he's doing. So for Eddie Hearn, I am gonna swipe right. Then we come on to massive head guards. Now, when it comes to head guards, I understand you've got to have protection, you've got to have padding, but if your head guard makes your head double the size, then when it comes to slipping shots and getting out the way, you are hindering your sparring. So I would much rather go with the smaller, sleeker head guards, the ones that allow you to slip, the ones that don't give your opponent a massive target like they're punching a massive microwave. And so massive head guards, if you've got a massive head guard and you can't understand why you keep getting punched in the head, change your head guard to a smaller one, it might very well help. And so massive head guards is a definite swipe left for me. Then we come on to Dinardo. Now Dinardo is the Italian master craftsman who has got his workshop in Italy, producing works of art when it comes to his gloves, his head guards, his boots, his groin guards and his other gear. He is a massively divisive character in that he first of all says he's a humble craftsman, then he says he's the godfather of boxing gloves, so there's a little bit of a discrepancy there, but I actually really like the fact that he's about. I think there's not enough personalities out there when it comes to the boxing brands, and so for me, Filippo, love him or hate him, I'm going to swipe right for Filippo. Then we come on to $1 Million Baby, the film. Now this film, for me, I was really enjoying this film up until halfway through. No spoilers here, but literally if ever I watch this film, I watch the boxing bit until it turns into the chick flick and then I'll turn it off. So for me, $1 Million Baby, if it had carried on as a boxing film, would have been brilliant. The fact it turns into this chick flick halfway through, for me, that is definitely a swipe left. Then we come on to Mike Tyson in the 80s. Mike Tyson in the 80s, a young Mike Tyson, absolutely loved his style of boxing, just so ferocious, knocking everyone out, really exciting, absolutely brilliant. That's a swipe right for me. And then we've got Mike Tyson in the 90s, the one that was trying to break people's arms, trying to, well, actually biting Evander Holyfield's ear, a piece of his ear off, trying to intimidate, trying to foul, and sort of basically just going totally off the rails. I do not like watching 90s Mike Tyson. I know he's turned his life around since and he's very successful, but for me, 90s Mike Tyson when he was in the ring, real shame that his career went that way. And so for me, you've got a swipe left when it comes to Mike Tyson in the 90s. Katie Taylor, absolutely superb female boxer, opening doors for females in boxing all around the world. Love how she boxes, absolutely superb. I think that it's a real shame because obviously I've got an accent, which is not the best. But Katie Taylor, she is a good voice away from being a mega star. And that's really bad because her boxing stands up so much. She is a top level operator. Really love Katie Taylor, what she's done for the sport and what she represents. So she is a definite swipe right. Then we come on to the boxing gear, Rival. Rival, full of innovation. Obviously, Russ Amber is the guy that is sort of started Rival. They've done a lot of different gear over the years, and with that innovation comes a lot of people copying them. I do love the style. It's a bit garish for some people, but I do like it, sort of in your face. I really like the fact that they sort of do try new things and they put new features onto their gear. So for me, Rival is a definite swipe right. Then we come on to press-ups in boxing gloves. If you're in your gym and you've got your boxing gloves on and suddenly the trainer says, let's do some burpees, let's do some press-ups, and then you're doing press-ups in your boxing gloves, I hate that because boxing gloves are not made for doing press-ups in. Really makes me cringe when I see it, damages the boxing gloves, and I just really do not like to see that. For me, that is a definite swipe left. Then we come on to Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, I loved what Deontay Wilder represented when he started boxing for his daughter who was very ill, and I loved the story up until the point that he gave so many excuses for his losses against Tyson Fury that it really turned me off him. And for me, you know, would I be bothered if I didn't see him in the ring again? No. I would quite like to see Chisora fight him, and that would be a great fight because he has got that one punch power and he is an exciting fighter. But for me, he will go down as the man that made the most excuses for a loss in the history of boxing. And so for that, I am going to go with swipe left. Then we come on to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, I absolutely think is the greatest boxer there ever been. I love the style. I love the way he boxed. I love his defence. It's a real shame at the minute that it's sort of tarnishing that with these sort of exhibition bouts. But at the time in his career, he did fight everyone. Some people would say that he waited for people or he got to Canelo Alvarez early. But hey, he did box some massive, massive champions and beat them all. So for me, Mayweather will be always up there. And so Floyd Mayweather is a swipe right for me. Then we come on to Instagram boxers. Now, Instagram boxers are these guys that are training as if they're professional boxers. Training as if they're sort of, you know, they're doing all the cardio, they're doing all the drills, they're doing everything, but you never see them fight. And one thing I'd love to see is when you see the people on Instagram and they're actual boxers. And so, yeah, they put their training footage on, but at the end of it, you do see that they have either an amateur fight or a pro fight or even a white collar fight, whereby there is an end result to this endless amount of training. I mean, what are they training for? I can't understand it. Get themselves in great shape, doing all of these things, but no end result. Just pretendy boxers. For me, Instagram boxers that do that, I've got a lot more respect for that person that actually goes amateur, has an amateur fight, win or lose, gets in and actually does the process properly. So for me, Instagram boxers are a swipe left. Then we come on to white collar. I don't mind white collar as an introduction into boxing for some people, as long as they progress into amateur boxers. But, you know, when they say about sort of these charity events, yeah, how much of the money goes to charity. Also, I've seen some horrendous matching when it comes to white collar. And when I say horrendous, I mean dangerous. As in, there was a girl at our club the other week, and she was matched against a girl who was 10 kg heavier. You know, and she was going to go through with it because she'd got spectators there and she'd also raise the money for the charity. But if it goes horribly wrong, then the white collar, you won't see them for dust. So I would say white collar, for me, is a swipe left. Then we come on to amateur boxing, and I love amateur boxing. I travel up and down the country with Telford Amateur Boxing Club, being an amateur coach. I love the structure. I love the fact that it's a real learning ground for the young boxers, you know, and again, they're not going to go winning every single match. There is going to be highs and lows. There's going to be wins and losses, and they're going to face opponents that are sort of overmatched for them. They're going to face opponents that are just that little bit too good for them at the time, but they will come through it, and all of that is a great grounding, especially if they go pro. So for me, amateur boxing is a definite swipe right. And then finally, the final thing to go through, pro boxing. Love pro boxing, love to watch it. Met a lot of professional boxers, and I love it to see when amateur boxers turn over to pros. I think it's an absolutely brilliant thing. I know that sometimes amateur boxing and pro boxing are almost like at odds with each other, but I see that one perfectly dovetails into the other when it comes to people's career. So pro boxing for me, the #1 sport in the world. I love it. Swipe right for pro boxing. So I hope you enjoyed that. Fit2Box boxing Tinder. Just a little bit of fun for you. Put down in the comments below any sort of things that you'd like me to comment in the next one that I do, whether I will swipe right or left for them. But again, just a great way to get across some quick sort of my thoughts on different things when it comes to boxing. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe to Fit2Box channel, and I shall speak to you soon.